Hariom Deepti ji, Hariom Srinivas ji, Hariom
Hariom.
Hariom Vidya ji, Hariom Pushpa ji, Hariom Rajshri ji, Hariom Bhama ji,
Hariom.
Hariom Hariom ji, Hariom Hariom ji, Hariom Arvind ji. Yes, so we have another say roughly 4 to 5 minutes in hand. If anybody wishes to ask something or share something, you are most welcome. Or we can just wait for the participants to join.
Hariom.
Hariom ji, Hariom Sunita ji, Hariom. We stopped at shloka number 15, so we will be continuing from the 16th shloka of the 7th Adhyaya. Hariom Savitri ji,
Hariom.
Hariom ji, Hariom. Hariom Bhavishya ji. Yes, we'll just wait for a few more minutes, 3 more minutes, and then we can begin. If anybody has any query, anything you wish to ask, you are most welcome. Hariom Vasudevan ji. We'll just start in a minute. I request all participants who can turn on your video feeds, please do turn on the video feeds. It's much easier to interact with the video feeds on. Thank you. Alright, I think we can now begin with the invocation. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhe Bhavatu Me Sada Mukam Karoti Vachalam Panghum Langhayate Girim Yat Krupatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Hari Om. Yes. Can anybody recollect what is it that we stopped at yesterday? If we can form the link, we will restart. Yes, please. We are starting from the 16th verse of the 7th Adhyaya. Hari Om.
We spoke about Ashtada Prakriti.
Yes, ji.
Then
Can we look at the...
Panchatattva.
Yes, ji. So the Ashtada Prakriti consists of Panchatattva, 5 elements.
Yeah, and man.
Mind.
Mind, Ahankar.
And Buddhi.
Buddhi.
Yeah. Man, Buddhi, Ahankar and Panchamahabhutas. Yes. So they were the Ashtada Prakriti. And where is the so what we can say, like the divine said, there are two forces. One is higher and one is the lower. So the Ashtada Prakriti comes to which category? Is it the higher or is it the lower?
Lower.
Lower. Okay, Pushpaji. Then what is the higher one, Pushpaji? This is the lower force. We can say the inferior forces of the divine. The higher force, in the very next verse, Krishna says, it is that ansha of the divine, that portion of the divine, that force of the divine, which
Divine.
yes, which enters into the being as the prana and the life force inside, and keeps that person, individual, alive. There is something that is the higher force. So these two are together working, and that is how a person's entire life is outcome. Everything is shaped by these. Prakriti establishes its control, and then we will study a little bit later on the role of Purusha and Prakriti, how an outcome is shaped. Especially in the 18th Adhyaya, it is surprising and it is very nice and positive to note that we are not completely at the mercy of fate. Fate has a role, but fate is not superior. Fate cannot put a full stop. There is something else also, another factor, which decides the outcome of an individual, how siddhi is attained, how perfection is reached. Everything is governed by actually 5 factors, but we'll look at them when they are introduced to us in the last Adhyaya by Krishna. But now, then that was one thing, is what Krishna said. These are two energies. He says, I am the creator, Mata, Dhata, Pitama, I am the father of this creation. And then he says, I am also the source of pralay. I create, I destroy. So this is one more thing Krishna is saying. He is the creator, he is the destroyer as well. There is nothing that is beyond him. Nothing he is everywhere and omnipresent. He is like the Sutre Manigana Iva. That was a beautiful example. Like we are all different pearls, all of us in different appearances. That's the beauty of pearl. It is that each pearl is unique. It is prepared inside, it is so perfectly created inside of the shell of the oyster that it is all unique. Each, sometimes 3 4 are inside of the same one, but still each is unique. It is like that, each of us with our Ashtara Prakriti, with the divine inside of it, each pearl glitters beautifully, and there is one single thread that is connecting all of us. That is Krishna himself. He says, I am the sutra, I am the thread that is bringing all of us together. Anybody disagrees that we are all connected? Anybody has a disagreement that no, we are not connected, all of us, all human beings? We are free to have disagreements also. So yes, please. Are we or are we not? If we are, how are we? Yes, please. Anything. Anybody. How do you feel we are all connected? If we are connected, as we can say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. But how is it then? How do we see that? Do we experience that?
We are connected because, as we say, that if divine is in everyone, or
Okay.
so each one of us has some ansh of it. So then that way we are connected.
We are connected that place. Otherwise, this is on the what we can say. Sometimes metaphysical level is not visible in the physical level, is it not? So then we do not realize
See,
it.
we are all connected in one way, is that we are all made of that panchata. I mean, we all have
Okay.
those elements.
So all of us have the same, we can say, if we see blood, if elements are not visible inside of our body, we have the same blood, we have the same, heart is the same. So all human beings, though different on the outside, because of it, the Ashtara Prakriti and
Structurally, we are all same. And the elements which are required are all same for us to, like, whether we talk in the form of the dhatu or otherwise also. And we
Ji,
all have the skin, we all have eyes, we all have ears. I mean,
yes,
we may
yes.
look different, but we all have made of the same. What do you call it? The clay is the same. The mold might be different, but the clay is the same.
Okay, okay, Deepti. So we are made of the same element, that is one thing.
Within us is same.
Yes, Srinivas
Is the essence within us is same.
Yes, yes.
Although we look different,
Ha ha ha. The
the
essence.
essence within us is, yeah, that
Yes.
is same.
Yes, yes, but many of us feel we are not connected. Many of us feel we are different. Many of us feel that no, this person does not belong to me. this person is from another place, this person is not up to my level, or this person has a different, this person is Asuri, I am Deva. That is, a lot of people have that kind of natures also when they try to, divide people. This is like this is like that. So this division comes into us. But I think if we look at a very practical example, this corona pandemic taught us, is it not, that all of us are connected. We were all forced to get inside of the homes. And the only service we can do for the world is probably not by going out, was what we were taught. Everyone, everywhere, single place. And then suddenly we started seeing that, yes, Swachhata Karyakartas started getting flowers, vrushti of flowers whenever they came to the colonies, because that time when everything was uncertain, their work they had to do. The Swachhata Karyakartas were otherwise never welcomed or anything. They looked at them as some kind of people, and they are low status people. They are not good. Don't look at them. These kind of attitudes were there. But now the same public was greeting them, and there were videos of people showering flowers that you are working. They wanted them to remain like that, or even our Vaidyas, all our doctors, all of them. Suddenly they became like gods in the eyes of so many people. So what we are trying to see is, yes, we are connected with everyone. We cannot keep living in bubbles assuming we are not connected. Our karmas are connecting us, there's a flux, and then on the metaphysical level, I think everybody has perfectly said. Essence wise also, if you see, yes, we are the same only. We are perfectly said by Srinivas ji and Dipti ji. We are one. There's no difference, this person or that person. Then Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, what is stopping us from realizing it is one question which we should ask, because when we see that, why not? Why only Soham? Why Soham Asti? Why not So Vayam Santi? All of us, we are that. Why I am that only? Let that we also come. A collective realization. Are we going to just go running after our own individual realization now? Or we are going to bring that? We are going to live that together harmonious existence in life. So anyway, whatever it is, Krishna is saying, I am there. And where am I? He goes on saying that he is in that beautiful fragrance. He is in the perfect flavor of the water. He is in the fire. He is in the heat. And every single place where there is purity. Where there is purity means wherever you find purity, it can come. It is on the. It depends on the eye of the perceiver. Krishna will often use these words when we see the Gita later on. Yaha pashyati, saha pashyati. So this aspect of being able to recognize the divinity, being able to see that is the important thing. So Krishna says that this is, see, I am the seed. Imagine if we can recognize the divinity in individuals or in nature or in actions. What do you think? What difference will it make? What if we can see the divinity inside of individuals? We're not trying to, artificially or psychologically make us convinced and then, no, this is divine. It's not that. It is a realization of divinity inside. Conscious, you become conscious of divinity inside, because this is a truth. This is a high truth of Sanatana Dharma also, that divinity is there. What can happen?
No, so we will treat everybody equally. First of all, our egos will be like set aside.
Okay, ahankar. That is a problem in relations, no? All the times.
Yeah, that is a big problem. Yeah. See, because then if I am seeing if I know that okay, I have a divine in me and you have a divine or anybody else, so I would like my approach towards the people would absolutely change, because I would treat them equally like me, so
Like
that
you.
I will become we, of course.
Yes, is that
Yes, I
not?
mean, say of course. There's one question here which I wanted to ask also with respect to that. I don't know. I mean, I want to ask whether Krishna adheres to this or not. Like, suppose if I get a realization that no, I have to treat everybody equally, or let's say uh, I change myself. Okay, I
Okay.
keep my ego aside. But sometimes what happens is that we know that the other person or the other people around us, we can't change them. We can change only
Yeah.
ourselves,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So then sometimes what happens is you tell your mind, okay, no, you don't have to behave in a certain way, but then you sometimes get affected by the other person's behavior, although you are trying to change. Does Krishna talk about that?
Yeah, we will actually come to the later adhyayas, no, about how behavioral aspects are there, because Krishna has also told before, na buddhi bhedam. Our job is not to create a divide in another person's mind. If the person is believing in attachment, believing in the virtue of selfishness, according to that person, that is selfishness is the virtue. Our job is not to, he has not come to us saying, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. So why do we go after changing them? However, our side, it is many times when we start making the changes, we consciously impart a change in another place, the person will sometimes unconsciously also get transformed. Probably because what happens is if you go running after on the outside changing somebody else, you may not really get success, and in the same time you will run away from your own inner self in that process. Instead, Krishna says, remain, go on with your duties, it's alright. Let Duryodhana remain Duryodhana only. Your job is not to go and teach Duryodhana the entire Bhagavad Gita. Your job is to pick up the Gandiva Dhanusha after I have finished and go into the battle, is what Krishna is wanting from Arjuna. So, Deeptiji, I think we need not, our aim need not be that. We will see later on, but Krishna
No,
says,
I'm not. I understand that the aim is not that. I am just saying that, let's say if I know that I am changing myself, I am keeping my ego aside, or I am trying to tell myself
then who
something
is
like.
feeling sad, Deeptiji, if your ego
No,
has
no,
been
I'm not
kept
feeling
aside?
sad. I'm saying that the other person. I have to tell also. Okay, I cannot change the other person. I should not expect anything from the other person.
Yeah,
But as a human, as a practice, because something which has
yeah,
not been done for so many years, and now you're bringing into practice,
yeah.
it takes time. It
It
takes
takes,
a lot of
yes,
time and
yes,
effort, right?
yes, yes.
But then how should the one person react to the other? I mean, seeing that okay, you know that the other person might come back to you in the original way. Always it was like that.
No, you can be vigilant, but like you said, it takes time. Krishna also says, Abhyasena. Abhyasena Kaunteya. By practice, slowly, slowly the detachment comes. And sometimes, in life, you don't have to practice. Life makes you practice it only. You don't have to do anything specifically. Moments keep coming again and again. And either you are broken by the moment or you rise completely above it. When you are connected with your emotions, those moments can bring you down. If you are learning detachment slowly, means first time it will hurt more, second time a little lesser, and then finally till that it is said the heart keeps on breaking again and again till one day it stops breaking completely. So we don't have to, that will be a process where slowly you get out of it. But it's no problem. Krishna is not asking us to go to the top of the Mount Everest on day one. It is go as you please. And he says there's no yoga brashta as we saw in the last adhyay. So it will happen eventually. And yes, Deepti ji. Ji,
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om. So here he says, I am the seed. He says, it is for my truth is for you to conceive. You have to recognize my truth. Means Krishna is saying whether my truth is there or no, it is depending on the perceiver to conceive it. It is not, Krishna is not going to make you realize it. Realization you will have to, the horse can be brought near the water, but the horse will have to drink the water. We cannot make the horse drink the water. It is something like that. It is my radiance, he says, even in the illumined, my light will manifest in the people. The wise, the intellectual, the wisdom in the awakened intellectual, it is mine. So do not give it on the outer garb. Go and understand the root from where it has come. My radiance is what the illumined receive. He said, I am there, I am the strength. And then one place, it's like always, when diet also is given by a dietitian for somebody, they all want one cheat day. They want one cheat day where you can at least let me get one day off. I want to because I have this nature. So if we want to hold on to something, we are not able to let go of everything. We want something to hold on because we've always held on to desires. We've always held on to expectation. What should be the driving factor? So that time Krishna says it's all right holding on to your dharma. That is the one desire that is not wrong. I am there everywhere, he says. Even the mighty are receiving my strength, and without passion and attachment, even in the energy of procreation, I am present, he says. And I am that desire to uphold Dharma. So, holding the Dharma is one thing we must never forget. And for that, again, we need to understand, we need to be balanced. Otherwise, again, our directions will go in the wrong way. What is Dharma and what is Adharma also becomes a question afterwards, because people in the name of Dharma do wrong, and people in then Adharma is what? They don't realize it. They classify that as Dharma. So that is again, but our desire to hold on to Dharma is not wrong, to uphold it. Let us go on. Krishna says, he says this, there are these three gunas, Rajas, Tamas and Sattva. All these three gunas, they have come from me only, from my Prakriti, though they have come from my oneness. I am not in the outer form, meaning, though there is divine on the inside, the divine has not manifested on the outside. Sri Aurobindo, he saw Vasudevam Sarvamiti inside of the jail. Inside of the jail, he got the experience of Vasudeva. But you look at the description, he says, because all were not freedom fighters in that prison. He had got rigorous, solitary confinement and all difficult things because he was fighting for the cause of Bharat. But not everybody. There were petty criminals also. There were other murderers also in the same prison. And the line he uses, those in those misused bodies, there was Vasudeva. Meaning, inside of them, Vasudeva is there, but the body is being misused by these ahankaric forces only. So now, the divine is not on the surface, though present inside. So this is again a beauty, this is a crazy thing. How is it? Why is the all-powerful divine hidden inside, not able to come outside? Well, this is the rule. The divine is only created, and this is Maya. Maya keeps a person from realizing divine. Maya is at play everywhere. We do not realize that. We are also sometimes in the trap of Maya. And Krishna says that the man goes bewildered by it. He can never, and as long as he is in that, he will never see. He will only see the outer body of the individual, or he will see only the outer aspect. He will not go to the spirit of things as long as he is trapped by Maya. And these three gunas, they are perfectly responsible because we are trapped in the, we will study the gunas later on. But Maya operates by these three gunas. The software manufactured by Maya, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. Wherever you have installed this software, it is installed everywhere. So Maya is also eventually every single place. So then there's one beautiful aspect. Krishna says, Maya metam tarantite. But there is a way to escape Maya. That is also what we saw. Can anybody recollect? How is it? What was it that we saw? The way out of Maya. There was a story also we saw. Yes, please. Anybody?
Surrender.
Okay.
Surrender.
Ji, yes. Bhamaji is saying surrender. Dr. Poonam ji is surrender. Yes, please.
Narada's story.
Yes, Ji, Narada's story. So you see, okay, yes. So first we'll come to the answer what you said. Yes, surrender. Surrender is something which is very, very essential. Ahankar disappears with surrender. That is why in Sanatana Dharma we have the tradition of touching the feet of our elders. In the physical act of prostration also, the ahankar inside goes away. So when even very, very what we can say wise people are there, people just go and touch their feet. Why do they do that? What is happening? People say, show me in physics what transfer is taking place. I want to know what energy transfer is. If you are not able to show me, there is no energy transfer taking place. No, whether or not transfer is taking place, forget that. What is happening in the physical action of surrendering? What are you doing? You are bowing. Bowing means you are saying, I am not superior to you. And this is the understanding. This is the understanding. What happens in that? Does the person become bigger to whom you have surrendered? No. It is the person who is surrendering. He gets that. He gets that, freedom from his own ahankar. Why Arjuna did, Shishya-steham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Was it same as surrendering to an enemy? He was going to surrender to Duryodhana. Instead, now he is surrendered to Krishna. Someone will say, what's different? He is just having the habit of surrendering. No, this is a difference. This surrender is for, here surrendering to the enemy is the wrong thing. That is not Dharma. But surrendering to some divine preceptor or surrendering to Krishna, that is definitely Dharma because Krishna needs nothing. Krishna needs nothing from Arjuna. Yet, Krishna is going to be the catalyst for a transformation inside of Arjuna, and Arjuna's fallen hero is going to rise again. So that is why again Sharanam, we go to this temples also in the south also, Swami Sharanam Ayyappa, they say that. Why? Because they say it so loudly, they chant it loudly because they want to, condition it. They just do not want it on their lips. Many times, you see, Arjuna says, I have surrendered. Can we say Arjuna has surrendered completely by the questions that he has asked? No, is it not? He is asking, how can I trust you, Krishna? You are saying this. Should I believe you? You had some time machine. You went and taught the sun. So these questions are all because there is an incomplete surrender. But the moment Arjuna's surrender becomes complete, we will also observe in the Gita how the questions of the Gita start changing. It's like sometimes you have to start asking the right questions also. The right questions will bring you right answers. Otherwise, we go in these circles only. Why is this like this? Why is like that? Why is one person doing sin? Why is that person not doing sin? These are all aspects which do not matter. These are all, going out in circles, not to the garbha. The garbha is very deep, but we need to let our arrow pierce the target. Instead of just, it does not firing 100 arrows is of no use if you can fire one arrow and hit the target. That is what the Upanishads also do. Each one tries differently, but it tries to hit that target of Brahma Vidya. So here Krishna says it is only by surrender, only by surrendering to the divine, taking Sharana, as we saw in the story of Narada. Narada Muni, he is exalted. He will be described in the Gita also later on as one of the exalted Vibhutis of Krishna. But Narada also got trapped in Maya. The moment he got Ahankar, Why Narada? Even Indra has got trapped in Maya. Yeah, Shani is like this, or Yama is not powerful. Narada, that time Narada is responsible. He comes and does the required aspect to, provoke the Ahankar inside of Indra. And then Indra gets the Sakshatkar. Sometimes God also works in these ways. Sometimes God only pricks our ego, makes us realize, makes us do mistake, and then we realize it and come out of it. But only way of coming out is this. Otherwise, we will be like birds flapping aimlessly, going in circles. My teacher Damleji, when he worked in the veterinary line, that time there was a disease in poultry, aimless flapping. When that would come, this bird would start running around just in flapping in circles. There is no other option but culling now in such a situation. So this is a dangerous thing of Maya, that sometimes Maya people hold on so strongly to their perception, trapped in the force of Maya, that they are going to bring themselves down. That's what Krishna says here. Prapadyante naradhamaha. He uses strong words. These naradhamas, they do all the wrong because they don't see the truth. They do not wish to see the truth. You can make people see by operation if they are having a cataract or there's some eye problem, ocular trouble is there, it can be resolved. But can you make a person who sees and consciously does not want to see, can you make that person see? It's like early morning, I say, good night everybody, I see it is a wonderful night. You can see sunlight is falling on you, what are you doing? No, it is night only. What is the use? What will you all do then? You say, leave, this person is little bit cracked on the inside, we cannot do anything about it. Because I choose to not see what is true. So this is happening because of Maya, we don't realize it. And if Narada could get trapped, I think all of us must be always vigilant, constantly vigilant, because we don't know what we can do. Luckily, Narada had Krishna next to him. What if we are not conscious of the divine? What will we do in our Maya? Many times, whatever mistakes we have done are because we were not conscious. So probably let us hold on. And it is simple if we hold on to the divine. It is easier. Surrender sometimes comes very difficult for a person who has ahankar. But otherwise, for one without ahankar, it is like very naturally hands come together and the bowing to the divine comes spontaneously. Shraddha also flows like a fountain. One does not have to do anything specific to, cultivate Shraddha. It is not to be cultivated also. It just appears. So let us go on. Krishna says this and then he talks about devotion. He says there are 4 ways. So even the bhaktas travel in one of the 4 ways. Look at the game of Prakriti. Means it's like if I have to go. Yes, please. Pushpaji wants to ask something.
Maya is karma. Is it so, Ji?
No, Ji. Maya, karma and Maya are different. By our karmas also we can come out of the trap of Maya. But Maya is like what we can say. We can say it is like a functioning software everywhere in the world. Like if you see different systems are there. In computers we have different operating systems. Is it not? In that operating system there is a virus that we can call it Maya. That virus is preventing the operating system from doing its exact work what it is meant to do. So what will you do, Pushpaji, in such a situation? Will you reject the entire operating system or would you say no, I will remove the virus? Ji, yes Pushpaji. Are you?
We have to use some antiviral
Yes.
thing, and
Yes. So
we have to
something.
remove the virus, and we keep on using this
Yes.
software.
And we keep updating our antiviral softwares all the time, is it not, Pushpaji? Because there are so many viruses, they keep coming, so we have to ensure we don't open the wrong files. We do not want to do anything unnecessary to, any pen drive comes, you don't just take it like that. You do a check before you accept it. Something like that, is it not? So something like that is Maya. Maya is there, created by Prakriti. It is surrounding all of us, living beings, all living beings. Whether it is even animals sometimes get into the trap of that. But the way out of it, is it is only by surrender, becoming conscious of the divine, and without.
How can we recognize that our actions are due to Maya, or karma, or it's because
No,
of our
ha.
activity, or like that? How is it possible, Ji?
It is very subtle, it's very sukshma. Best example is somebody comes and provokes you, and you get provoked because somebody has said something, and then you get into an action and do something wrong. So first time you get bad experience, you think this person is very bad. I don't like this person, only this person is like this. Tomorrow another person comes and that person provokes you by some other thing, and you again react to that person, then you go and saying that person is bad. After 10 days and 10 people have provoked you, what will your realization be then? Is it problem with new people are coming to provoke me, or am I getting provoked?
By experience only, we
Ah,
have to
yes, yes, yes. By experience, you will
overcome that.
realize it. Yes, yes. You can see, ah, no, this is a pattern that's taking place. This is happening not always because of me. I am only, I mean, not because of everyone else. It's probably because something I am not recognizing it. But we need not worry. If we have a full Sharan and full surrender and smaran of the divine, we don't have to worry about Maya also, actually. Ji. That is
They
also
say that
great.
This is more or less allied to Deepti ji's
Ha ha.
doubt also. No?
Yes, yes, ji, yes, ji, yes. Ji, ji,
we say that the
Thank
job
you.
like situation,
ji.
to focus on the job and not on what the other person is doing,
More.
then probably we will get over it fast.
Yes, and focusing on the job also, let that focus be with like Adi Shankaracharya's way. Yadyat karma karomi tadakhilam shambho tavaradhanam. Means my job is an aradhana for the divine. I am
Yes.
doing it. That aspect if we add, probably Maya will not trap us. We will be free. Yes, ji.
That's what we don't know what the job in life is.
Ji, ji. No, sir, just Sharan. Krishna will make us do the right job also. Delivery boy can become AGM also of a company. We have seen such examples as well. Let the divine do that work also. Sometimes let divine's work, headache should be divine's only, not human beings. We just have to go on. So yes, that is true. And so now devotion also. Interestingly, even the path of escape, we said devotion is the way out. But for routes also, there are only 4 routes of devotion generally. Krishna is saying people take one of these 4 routes. He is having a thorough reading of how people are, the way he describes it. Let us see. Chaturvidha bhajante mam janaha sukriti norjuna artho jignasurartharthi gnani cha bharatarshabha. Amongst the pure ones who their devotion offer, fourfold are the ones who to me surrender. The suffering, the seekers of the greater good, the knowledge seekers and devotees by whom I am understood. So, fourfold are the ways which people walk. One is through suffering. Through suffering, either they suffer themselves or they induce suffering on themselves or they see the suffering of other people and that becomes the motivation of their or that becomes a drive to seeking the divine. Any example we have of this?
I think almost all family members are doing this only.
Family members, how is it, Pushpaji? Yes, please. Because of
Because
because of suffering of different experiences which are troubling, the person turns to the
yeah,
spiritual.
yeah,
Okay.
uh,
Gautam Buddha
daughter.
also got that way only, no?
Gautam Buddha.
Yes, I
Yeah,
think
Gautam
Srinivas
Buddha
ji has
was
said
the
the same thing.
Gautam Buddha, yeah.
So we need not worry about it then. So maybe we are getting a Buddha in the family also. So we need not worry. That direction of enlightenment is starting. So yes, sometimes through this suffering, or some people, some of them actually have a tendency to they hurt themselves also. It's not really. Later on, we'll see in the Gita whether it is advisable or it's not. But so they, and sometimes through suffering they understand pain, and through the pain they go. That is what we can say a different slight deviation from the marga. But that is also one way people go. Then the seekers of greater good, Loka Sangraha, great karma yogis. I don't know, I don't see God, it's alright. I'd see karma only. I will do only good deeds. It's okay, God is there or not there, it doesn't matter. Krishna doesn't want us to only remember Krishna's name, he wants us to do karma also. Some people feel karma is more important and so they focus on doing good for the world. This is my sadhana, I will do this, this is my work. Through my work, I will offer everything to the divine. So, this is one more type of people. Selfless people who are working for greater good. They are also working on the divine path, whether or not they are conscious of it. So, this is the second way. The third is through knowledge. Through knowledge, they study, they use their wisdom, they use their intellectual, their prowess to recognize the divine. They go deeper, deeper, deeper. It is another marga. Some people enjoy it. Why some of them For some of us, we will take Mandukya Upanishad first time and we'll say, what is this? Om iti etad aksharamidam sarvam tasya upavyakhyanam. What? Om is everything. Everything. What Trikalatitam sadapi omkarameva. Everything is Om. Om, I don't know. I think it's time to close the book. A person will walk away looking at it. It's just writing Om. Instead of describing all of this, it's better to say Om, or I don't think there is anything in this book, and they keep that away. But somebody else will see that Om, and then suddenly that Om, that Nad of Om will reverberate inside of an individual. That Om will start, will being, he can see, that person can feel, yes, this is that Nada. Nada Brahma will be realized through that Om for that person, because that person uses knowledge as the marga for devotion. Through knowledge, a person seeks that particular way. So that's another way. And then there are those who, with just by bhakti, they go on with their bhakti also, with bhakti as their major element. What we are saying is there may be, these are not exclusive paths, they can be intersecting also. But overall, if we want to give a stamp, so one person, this person's swabhava is more bhakti. He does not worry about, or she doesn't worry about this getting knowledge also. It comes on its own to that individual, but the person prefers to go by bhakti. Another person, I know, one very senior sadhak, he has talked about it. He says, no, for me bhakti does not work that much for me. Personally, I appreciate it, but I like to use my intellect. Through intellect, I appreciate the divinity, I can appreciate the beauty of bhakti, but I myself don't get that rasa of bhakti inside of me. But I can understand why people are having that rasa or how they are experiencing. So that is the knowledge from that person, and somewhere there is a bhakti in his knowledge for him. But that is the overall, we can say, is a seeking through knowledge. Some through overall through karmas. Some people, I think we have some very principled people in the family also, who are, I don't care, they may not go to a temple also, they may not go and worship any particular deity, yet they are selfless and they are selflessly working for betterment of others. That's also a path towards the divine. That is also one. And the others, they try to elevate suffering, they try, through the experience of suffering, they try to immediately jump and try to connect with the divine. So these are the four ways, is what Krishna is saying. Now, who knows then out of these four people? Because everybody is walking on different roads. Maybe they are having one destination. So, which is the better road? Or who knows? Who is the one who knows of these four ways? Krishna says that in the next one. Tesham jnani nitya yukta eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnani notyarthamam sacha mama priya. This is another one, seventh. So, प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोत्यार्थम aham sa cha mama priya. This person is priya to me, is what Krishna is saying. This person is dear to me. Who is it? He says, among them is the knower who is in divine union. With a single-minded devotion, he engages in my communion, and to that wise knower, I am most dear, and to me too, he is most beloved and near. So here we see that person who is there in this sanidhya of the divine, who is constantly having the thought of the divine, who is remembering the divine in all moments, constantly. Many times we have the habit of compartmentalizing ourselves. This is my spiritual side, this is my non-spiritual side. I have to wear a spiritual mask when I go to temple and meet this type of people. The other place, I take that mask out and I can enjoy differently. Sometimes people feel these two worlds cannot be mixed together, and it is like this. This is my pure world, this is my impure world. I am human, I have purity and impurity. But no, it is, how long can we balance? It is an imbalance inside of yourself. Why not? No, if you are able to see the divine, you can move around any place. Divine can be present everywhere, every single place. On the streets also you can see the divine. In a person who is maybe not divine also, you can, if your eye of perception is perfect, you can experience that divinity. So this aspect, who is always that person, single-minded devotion, wherever the person goes, even if that person is in a most difficult place, the person is remembering the divine. In a place where divine cannot be remembered, also the person is able to remember. All places a person is having the smarana. That person is most dear to me, and I too am most near to that person. He says that person is mama priya, is what he says. Means if we have an aspiration, I think I grew up knowing this, that low aim is a crime. Krishna is giving the highest aim, and there cannot be any other higher aim than becoming dear to Krishna. Krishna says, you are dear to me. What more do we want? Is it not? If we need to just raise our consciousness to become as clear as divine, and what happens after that, we will see. Sri Aurobindo also talked about manifestation of so many latent aspects which are not visible, they start manifesting in a sadhak. As the sadhana rises, capacities which were not there are born. Faculties that did not exist or had no chance of existing suddenly start sprouting. How is this? Well, that is the divine's working. Why do we have to worry about how and why when we can focus on clearing all that is unnecessary, removing the ahankar, bringing about a transformation, creating the ground for manifestation. If the ground is not ready, now even if they say the Prime Minister is going to visit a particular place, what is the first thing that needs to be done? The ground has to be cleared. Now we are saying Padharo to our Krishna only. When we are asking him to come, what ground are we creating? Is there going to be a ground of ahankar and other all unnecessary insecurities, or we are going to have a beautiful clean ground? That is exactly what we should look at, because Krishna says that person who is in union, he is clear, he is near to me. I am also most near to that person. He goes on. Udaraha sarva evaite jnani tvamaiva me matam astita sahi yuktatma mameva nuttamam gatim. All these beings are most definitely worthy, but amongst them, I consider him most noteworthy. So all are worthy who are seeking the divine. He says these are all good, but who is the best? Sarva Shrestha. Who is that Sarva Shrestha person? He says, who seeks my union as his life's ultimate ambition, for he dwells in the awakened state's condition. Krishna says, somebody who has become wise enough to realize that the greatest ambition is sakshatkar, that is the greatest ambition, that is the sole aim of human existence. I have to get that realization. It's very important to have the direction actually. I think even in the freedom struggle, Lokmanya Tilak had said, Swaraj is my birthright, I shall have it. And when they knew that this is my birthright, what happened after that? Everybody is like, it's all right. They would, young ones would say, it's all right, I'm living my life up for this cause. And he also would say, Shubhaste Panthaha, happy journey. That's all he would say. They were all connected with that one cause, and they could understand and reach towards that cause. So like that, in today's day, we are free, but we have not yet got that higher freedom which we are all aspiring. Somewhere or the other, all our moments of sorrow are when we have not reached that freedom. So why not recognize Sakshatkar is our birthright, and why not go after it and grab it? This is what Krishna is saying. Somebody who recognizes and for whom the union with the divine, that realization of the divine consciousness, to be able to lead a divine life, if that is the highest ambition, he is talking about it. Ihaiva, this world itself, this birth itself, Krishna says, what are we waiting for? Yesterday, a friend of mine, who's just probably a few years younger than me, like, I do not know which birth I will get realization. I was just wondering, I have done so many sins. So I said, how many throats have you slit? How many throats have you slit? Sorry, how many murders have you done? Again, she was not able to understand what I was saying. Then she said, no, what great sin you have done that you are worrying about another future birth when this birth is the one which we have got. We don't know, why do we have to wait and delay with the inevitable which is going to happen. It can happen in this birth also. Valya can suddenly become Valmiki. He does not have to do sadhana for so many years as Valya. Maybe the Purva Janma sadhana is over. The realization comes and suddenly Valya becomes Rishi Valmiki. It is something like that. And if somebody who is having that aspiration, this is the ultimate aim. I want to realize the divine. How do I realize it? By living a conscious life. Our life would become an example. We will see later in 12th Adhyaya. Who is that? Bhakti Yoga, meaning of Bhakti Yoga. It's not just, lip service or saying the divine's name, or divine does not need to hear. Sometimes divine may be thinking, my God, so many people are calling me in so many different ways. I really get annoyed. Why cannot they say it with devotion rather than just mechanically saying it? But this aspect of being able to be conscious of the divine, that person, why is he dear and why is he great, is because he is dwelling in the awakened state. Instructions from the divine come to that person receives them. There is no interference of ahankar. The person is able to live in that awakened self. Who is able to live? Who has realized that yes, this awakening is my aspiration. I want to be awakened. That is the most important and greatest noteworthy person, is what Krishna says. He goes on, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma so durlabha. Sa mahatma so durlabha. It is very rare, rarest of rare we can see, but this experience has been got. Vasudevam sarvam iti. Read, if we can read Sri Aurobindo's experience. It is there online also in the Alipur jail. How he got that experience. It is beautiful that It was it looked like he's going to be hanged. For Britishers wanted him out of the picture. He was, creating firebrand revolutionary spiritual fighters for the cause of India, and they got him into a case. They gave him some other freedom fighters who were close to the British would get cozy jails. His jail was a very difficult one. It was a horrible life, and there, inside of that many days, he did not eat, but something happened. His sadhana went 10 times, 20 times, and then he got the Adesh from Krishna himself. The dialogue with Krishna was there as well. He said, Sri Aurobindo, suddenly everybody was shocked. Even the young ones, even Subhash Chandra Bose, all of them. Why did Sri Aurobindo suddenly leave? Because he got that realization. But the moment he got that realization, he said, over. He said, that's it. Now I don't have to worry. And he said, he just lost because there was a dialogue. He was first disturbed. Why? Why am I in this jail? I cannot work for the motherland. I have come to India for this. I want to do this. Why am I not being allowed? And then the question was, okay, India will become free. That is my responsibility. What will free India do? What will be the direction for India to go ahead? That who is going to work on that? And that onward, then he withdrew from that, and from there he started his great sadhana, all his realizations. And then there were the people, the what we can say, the jailers who walked around. They would avoid going near that cell only, because what experiences they got only they know. They were afraid because different weird things would happen every time. And in that period, the one who had not studied the Shastras, how did he get all this knowledge? It was something. And that time, Vasudevam, he has described it, the experience of Vasudevam Sarvamiti, how it was. He saw it in the jailer, he saw it in the warden, he saw it in the misused bodies, he saw in the judge, he saw in the prosecution, he saw in the people who had come, and it was like he was smiling, and he saw Vasudevam smiling. It was a trial going on to decide whether he is going to be hanged or not. Yet he could smile quietly because out of behind all this was all Maya. He knew he was going to get free. Then that Chittaranjan Das said, Sri Aurobindo, who is standing in front of you, you will not recognize today. 200 years down later, 200 years down the line, you will understand. Sri Aurobindo will be known then. That is the personality. That's the personality. We are still 150 years only, 175 probably. We are not yet got the full realization of Sri Aurobindo's what he has done or what is his way. But this aspect of realization, it's a rare one, is what Krishna says. How does it come? Bahuna janmanam ante. After many successive births can this fortune arise. When? When the divine is perceived through the mortal eyes. Very rare and blessed indeed is that seeking soul who experienced the divine's omniscience as a whole. The person is able to actually witness the divine. It's a rare experience, but it is possible, and we've had examples. There is precedence of people getting this sakshatkar as well. Krishna goes on. I think Rajashri ji had one small experience of Krishna coming to her when she shared it with us. When she was stuck all alone in some at Philadelphia's port, this railway station. There she got the experience suddenly, and this was an African American Krishna who came to her and took her away from that very what we can say perilous or vulnerable moment at that time. It is there, but we need to see and we need to experience. That person who experience only can say or experience what it is. Others cannot. Maybe we can debate how is this or how is that. But yeah, pashyati sa pashyati, as Krishna says. Let us go on. कामैस्तैस्तै ऋतज्ञानाः प्रपद्यन्ते अन्यदेवताः तं तं नियममास्थाय प्रकृत्य नियताः स्वया. By various outer desires, many seekers are misled, who fulfill their desires seeking a personal Godhead. And the demigods, by conditions and rules they bind, arbitrarily based upon the nature of their mind. So this, many seekers are there, but then in sadhana also they have desires. I want this in return. So I think my friend was there, give me good marks, I'll give you 2 coconuts. That was his exchange rate with the divine, and when he was in school. Because yes, so these are all arbitrary. Now God, he is the creator, he can get 100,000 coconuts, he is only creating all of them. What is he going to require these 2 coconuts? But this is a rule. A rule has been created by whom? By God or by that individual? It is by the individual, and it's an arbitrarily assigned rule. So like that, different rules are assigned, because in desires people are bound. So no, God, do like this, or I will not do this, or you do this, then I will do this, as if God's going to get happy if you do that. Or sometimes, God, this is not my test, it is your test. I am going to keep you now in water until this is cleared. I will not, as if God cannot swim in that. So, this much water is enough to drown the divine. But whatever it is, we are not trying to comment on the nature of that individual or the bhakti of the individual. All that is all is permitted in this love, like that. This is devotion also. It's okay. People can say anything. People, Vittala Vittala to Veda Kumbhar. It's not wrong, but we don't want to comment on that. But these rules sometimes they are very arbitrarily assigned. And why are they assigned such a way? Because these conditions and rules have been put on because of their desires. Desires make them bind, and sometimes they try to seek to bind the gods also. But what does Krishna say about it? Next, yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktah shraddhaya chitumicchati tasya tasya chalam shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham. Whatever form of mind that the devotees choose, their devotion towards me, I do not refuse. Instead, I ensure their confidence remains firm and their faith in their desired forms, I only affirm. So Krishna is saying that, he says, see, whatever form of mind the devotees are choosing, whatever may be the form, I do not break their devotion, I do not refuse their devotion, he says. I accept it. You're giving me like this, alright. You're given me half-eaten bear, okay, Sri Rama says fine. It's alright, it's very tasty, thank you so much. He takes it with all the love because he's receiving it and he doesn't want to break that devotion. He accepts the pure devotion, whichever form, whatever rule may be there. But otherwise, look at the logical rule. I mean, even behind Shabri, we respect her, we love her, all of that is fine. But seriously, half eating and then giving, is there no other better way? And that too, you're offering to the divine. But she had, and her purity was accepted by the divine. Krishna says that I do not. So when Krishna does not refuse somebody's pure devotion, are we in any point of authority or position of authority to say your Shraddha is false, you are wrong, you are all ignorant, you are going in this way, your bhakti is weak? Can we ever say that? Many times it's a very dangerous thing to play with somebody's bhakti. It can have tantric effects also. We'll say your bhakti is like this, but that bhakti may be so pure that the person who has said that will suddenly have a shake in that individual's bhakti only after that. So these are all forgetting these aspects as well, logically also. And we are having no locus standi in trying to proclaim or pronounce on another's bhakti as well. Because Krishna says, if it is pure and it's sincere, I will accept it. Instead, he says, I ensure that their confidence remains firm and their faith in their desired forms I only affirm. He says, I ensure it remains firm. Many of my friends started actually going to that same temple and breaking coconuts after my friend, whose exchange rate of 2 coconuts and good marks was looking to be very perfect and working. Because he got good marks, some of them wondered it was because of the Ashirvad of this God only and not because of his efforts. So many started going for breaking the coconuts. And Krishna says, I allow that form to continue. I allow that, I give confidence to them also because they want their faith to continue. Is Krishna cheating here when he is doing this? He is allowing them to remain in that ignorance. Or what do you think? What is the reason here? See, arbitrary rules are there. He said, I allow them to continue. It's all right. What could be the reason?
Not cheating there. He's allowing that if what form you choose, whatever way you choose, if you do it consistently and have that devotion, I'm okay with that.
Okay, he says, all right, I'm okay. If it, because what
But
do
there
you,
are no rules set by Krishna. Rules are only set by humans only.
okay, all
He's
right then.
accepting in whatever way they want to.
Okay.
But devotion is important.
Okay, all right, Deepti ji. Yes, Srinivas, you wants to add?
Bhav is important.
Bhav is important. Why? It brings about a change, no, in the individual. At least, at least if these children never went to coconut to a temple, but at least for marks they started going to the temple. Maybe that was their first connection with a spiritual atmosphere. So it's all right. Krishna says, fine, acha bete, aja, no problem. He says, come, I'll give you 5 more extra marks, as if it's going to make a big difference. It is just a different thing. So this is what Krishna says. He says, I allow it, I ensure that confidence is going to go on. Sa tayash. Yes.
Like in my home, like as Srinivas said, Bhav is important.
Yes, a little bit louder, please. Yes, ji. Yeah.
So as Srinivas said, Bhav is important. So at my home, when I was generally what happens that we pray and for a particular idol,
Mm-hmm.
and we started believing, and the whole family as a whole start believing in that, right? Like somebody is worshipping Ganesha, so the whole family will be like that, or
Ha ha.
maybe Devi. But at my house, my grandmother used to worship because she was she was a great devotee.
Ha.
She never forced us to like
Worship.
pray in a
Okay.
particular way or do a puja. If you don't feel like, you don't have to sit there.
Mm-hmm.
And she had like open choice. Like, she said, okay, you believe, if you want to believe in a particular form of God, you
Ishta
believe,
Devat, you choose. Hmm.
you choose. So we were never forced, and that sense gave us the freedom of thinking the world in also in a very open-minded way, and not. I mean, so the
Ji.
bhav was not only in the praying, but the bhav was also
Manifesting
inculcated in
elsewhere.
karma also.
Yes, 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 Dipti ji. And for example, Krishna's butter classes for kids. Damle ji may have shared that example, or many teachers often share. Every batch we get very beautiful, nice little children talking about the Gita in different ways. One child, mother shared a photo, and there was a small car in front of the God's photo of Ganesha and Krishna. All the deities were there. There was one car here. The mother asked, "Why have you done that?" And the child said, "No, no, no. When he comes, he has to travel around the city. No, for him, I'm offering this car." Now, this is something which is a beautiful. It is not like how dare you keep it, or what is wrong. Why? How can you keep this is a sacred place? You're keeping your toy. The parents also appreciated it. Why? They want the child to. They were trying to cultivate the right consciousness and raise the child. Krishna is doing what? What else is he doing? He's doing the same thing. He says, "I allow it. I allow it." Why? The next shloka is
Can I share an example here?
yes, ji. All right, ji. Okay.
Quickly, I'll share it.
Yeah.
So when we do the Navratri Puja
Yeah.
and the Ganpati is there in
A
our house.
little louder, please, ji. Ji, ji. Yes.
So when we do the Navratri Puja or the Ganpati comes to our house, so what my son does is he makes his own Ganpati of paper,
Ha ha.
a paper cup, and he starts praying and says, "This is my Ganpati."
Acha.
And we keep it for, I mean, the Ganpati stays in our home for 1.5 days.
Ha.
But he keeps him for 10 days
10
because we
days.
know the tradition is for 10 days. So he will pray. And also the coconut which we have, we consider like Devi there.
Ha.
So he has his own and say, no, this is my Mata.
Ha
So
ha.
I'm going to pray like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps it like he follows all how we are doing. And he's
Same
like,
thing.
no, I want to keep it for the same number of days. How
Okay.
and he's so devotee. Even we forget, but he's like, no, no, I want to do everything for
So
everyone.
wonderful. Ji, 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 ji. Yes, yes. So this is exactly the what we can say. Divine allows such even rules are okay. He says bhakti, you are binding that in. When not, if the bhaktas don't do it, who will do it to him? Krishna will allow himself to be tied also. He says, fine, tie me as much as you want. He goes on. So he says, what happens then in this process when the confidence remains? It is the faith that brings knowledge. Faith that brings knowledge, and the faith only helps that person receive the knowledge to transcend these arbitrary rules as well. If you look at the next shloka, somebody wants to add something. Okay,
Ji, my Ishta Devata is Ganesh.
Ji.
How can I link Ganesh with Krishna and pray or
Why do
doing
you
this
want to link?
sadhana and all
Why
the
do you want to
things?
link Pushpaji? Ganesha is Ganesha. If you feel he's different, no. If you feel he's different, Krishna says worship him with all the love. That's all. We don't have to. Everything begins with Sri Ganesha Namaha, no. So no need not link also Pushpaji. You see them as
Doing
one.
while doing sadhana, meditation, all the things, no.
Huh. Kaji?
I'm having the same confusion whether I can concentrate on Ganesha or Shiva or Krishna. This is my constant confusion.
No, why
So,
confusion, Pushpaji? If you see, Mahabharat was written by whom?
yes, sir. Written
Vyasa.
years
No,
ago.
no, Vyasa did not write it.
Oh, Ganesha, Ganesha.
Yes, yes, yes. Is it not?
Yes.
Is there not a link between Ganesha and Krishna so strongly?
Uh,
Yes or no?
uh,
Why, why,
yes.
why we need to think of them as different? They are one only. We need not. We need not. And Ganesha actually, even his Lekhani was not able to keep up, and that was the target. That as a scribe will not interrupt. Scribe will not allow the flow to stop. So what did he do? He broke a danta, small portion of danta, and started writing it. Continued so that there is no break. Is it not? So I think Pushpaji,
Yes.
that we need not worry about that. You feel like linking, feel like linking. Don't feel like linking, don't. There are people who have seen the avatar of Krishna and Ganesha. Krishna with Basuri also people have seen. Bhaktas who are Ganesh Bhaktas. There's a murti also of that type with Basuri, Krishna, Ganpati Bappa also. Anyway, let us get back. Yes, we were at shloka number 22. Sataya shraddhaya yuktah tasya radhana mihate labhate cha tatah kaman mayaiva vihitan hitan. He says, enthused with this faith, his devotion he pursues, and a force in his worship I then infuse. He says, what happens then? Imagine if God listens, what happiness comes to the person? Simple prayer I've made. So that prayer has come true. So what happens? Greater enthusiasm comes in. So the person again pours more ahutis, more offerings, a greater surrender. So slowly, if you're not able to realize the full surrender also, slowly Krishna brings about that surrender in process and stages. Slowly, that confidence increases. That is what he says. And a force in his worship, I then infuse. I gave the force to it, let the worship go inside, deeper. Even though through faith objects he seeks. So though he is asking for objects, sometimes people make funny prayers. Sometimes they make for give me this date. I want to go on a date, or I want this promotion, or I want this. Krishna says it's all right because this faith is sincere. He says all right. He's asking for objects in return. I give them, but when fulfilled, they are my fruits that he keeps. So even if, Krishna, again, I don't want Krishna, this is somebody else. It's all right. Krishna will give you fruits in that form. You say, no, I don't like Krishna. I want this form only. Through that form, you will get that fruit. But understand, they are my objects. Means the one divine is only offering it, irrespective of the outer form. Krishna goes on. But now, one last question, and we'll quickly move into this next shloka. So far, Mam Phaleshu Kadachana has been told to us. But now in sadhana and all of this, phala is allowed. Can we ask for fruits because we are praying? Is this some kind of what we can say double standards Krishna is only keeping in prayer? You can ask for fruits, or do you think that rules of Mam Phaleshu Kadachana applies even for prayers as well? Yes. What is it? Yes or no? It is.
So when we are praying, we have an object to attend to the God or to realize
Yes.
sakshatkar
Ha.
hona ho.
Ha.
We are surrendering.
Yeah.
So that object and to look for that object or to pray for that is not.
It's
I
not
think
wrong.
that
Okay.
can,
Okay, objects could be allowed. It's like sometimes bhaktas, bacche parents, if they don't ask the parents, whom will they ask? If the children don't ask for something from parents, whom will they ask? That's a attitude. Srinivas ji wants to add something. All right.
See, I think Krishna knows what you exactly want,
Okay.
what for you are praying,
Okay.
what for you are praying.
Okay.
The prayer has to be without any expectation, because there is a possibility that if expectation is not fulfilled,
Ha ha.
you may stop even worshipping.
Okay.
Then that possibility is
Because
also
your
there, and
connection is
God knows.
based on expectation. Okay.
What you are wanting, that is, God knows it.
Okay.
You simply pray. That's all.
G. Okay, that's one more way. These are what we can say. Two opinions also. One believes that Twadiyam Vastu Govindam Tubhyam Eva Samarpayet. What is yours? Tera tujhko arpan, kya lage mera, nothing is mine. It is all right. I am offering to you whether or not you give me the fruits. Because sometimes what happens is our prayers get fulfilled and then we wonder and we sometimes, God, why did you fulfill this prayer? Why did you not tell me this prayer was not required for me? Because what is important for us at one particular time, after some 8 years, 9 years, what was so important for us that time is now hardly important, and then we wonder, yaar, I asked for a wrong prayer. That time God was in a mood of listening and he listened. He should not have listened, it would have been better. So it's better, I think, the second option where Krishna, what is required of me, give that to me. And whether or not you give me, I will accept it. Okay, Pushpaji wants to add something? Yes. Okay.
I think this may be the way to get Sarda towards God.
Yes, Ji. Absolutely.
Constantly, if you are getting something by prayer, then slowly, even though we are not having full faith on God, slowly we can get that faith towards God.
And then when the faith is not fulfilled, we can say you have betrayed us, is it, Pushpaji?
No. That
No,
much we are not.
that much we are not holding on to. We are giving that freedom.
Yeah.
Yes. Ji.
This may be because of my karma.
Okay,
Like
Ji.
that we can
All right,
convince,
Ji.
no?
Yes, Ji. Ji. All right, Ji. So yes, Hari Om. So we go on to the next one. So Krishna says that Antavattu phalam tesham Tad bhavatyalpamedasam devan devaya jo yanti mad bhakta yanti mamapi. He says, but these fruits are temporary. They have an expiry date because desires have a temporary span only. They are in the world of Indras, which is of the Indriyas, which is Shara. So desires have an expiry date. So Krishna says, but these fruits are temporary. They do not last long. For their founding reasons are petty and not strong. Because the basic reason, one fellow makes a prayer for a date because he feels this person is the right person. So he'll get that date fulfilled. After the date, he realizes this is not the person he was seeking. What's going to happen? The foundation of that desire itself was petty, it was not strong. So that is going to fall apart because their founding reasons are petty and not strong. Whichever demigod they worship, that demigod they obtain. I want Kubera's blessings, I want to become with Kubera one because he has so much wealth. Alright, you will go to that dream, you will go to that Chandraloka also if you want, maybe. Krishna says if your sadhana is like that. But, he says, but my devotees come to me and my oneness they attain. But my devotees, they are, uh, they are there in that state of consciousness of mine only. And they come to me because that is all they are seeking. They are only seeking the consciousness of the divine. But Krishna goes on, avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mam abuddhayah param bhava majananto mam avyayam anuttamam. The minds ignorant and small consider me unmanifest, who am limited, finite, and cannot wholly manifest. For they know not the truth of my being immutable. I am the supreme, most perfect, and imperishable. Krishna says, these ignorant minds, though, they do not understand. They think that I am unmanifest. Look at God. I pity God. This is so many dialogues people say. See, He's in His creation. He has created, but He cannot intervene. It doesn't make a difference to God, of course. He's gone. He has created a rule, and behind the scenes, He's working. Maya is only on the outside. People who don't see that, see, everything is Maya. Only in that I'm not able to see the divine. So they think God is limited. God is finite. God cannot manifest completely because they do not know the truth of my immutable existence. I am the supreme, most perfect, and imperishable. I am there. I am that Akshara Avyaya. I am the highest truth. I am Sanatan. I am that existence which is perfect, immaculate. But that a person who is lost in the spell of the outer world cannot see it, is what Krishna is saying. Again, Krishna goes on, Naham prakashah sarvasya yoga maya samavrutaha mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mamajam avyayam. To all beings, I am not revealed, for behind Maya's veil I am concealed. I am not revealed to all. God is not existing. So many people say that. And they conclude it also. It's all right for Krishna. It doesn't make a difference. Whether we realize it is for us, it makes a difference. Our life, our journey, our aspirations change when we become conscious of something higher, purpose, meaning, direction, some purity we are recognizing. It manifests in our life then. If we don't manifest, we'll say all desires are everything. Parents will also say the same thing to children. Parents will allow desires to let go. They say, all right, let us go after our indriyas. Drinking is a very normal thing. I drink so much. Children, you can also start drinking. What's going to happen? Initially, it may sound cool and everything, but what happens afterwards? If the child gets the addiction, will that parent be happy? Then the parent will think, what have I done? Why did I do this? Because this entire aspect, the entire aspect is not on that purity, and the principle must be understood. But that is only lost because Maya does not allow us to see that. The world is hoodwinked and bewildered about my immortal truth. It hasn't pondered. God does not. World is so busy in its life. The world does not have time to look at its own original existence or anything. We are sending human beings out of space. We are advancing so much. All these things. We have the greatest medical systems across the world. We are connected like this. We have flights traveling from one place to another. We can go so fast. All these great. We have touched the skies with our skyscrapers. All these things are there, and then suddenly one small entity which man has not yet been able to perfectly classify as living or non-living, that small viral entity suddenly spreads everywhere. All the systems which were so powerful, so perfect, so great, stamping man's dominance over nature as the greatest human being, suddenly all of that start collapsing. This is what we saw in the pandemic. All marketing plans fell. The greatest geniuses could not predict what was happening, and nobody knew what was going to. So what has happened? One small microcosmic entity is sufficient to bring the entire human race down. That's the time for introspection. That is the time. What is happening everywhere, people need to, but Maya does not allow it. In our life also, we are happy. Sometimes we even say God's name and still we get trapped in Maya because we are not saying it from the heart. It has become a mechanical aspect. It is just lip service that's taking place. It's not something which is coming out. Otherwise, mantra is Mananat Trayateti mantra, or even the mantra which is coming from inside. It need not be even Shabda. It can be on the inside as well. But when that comes out, that should be there, but Maya does not. Krishna goes on, and this is probably the only sorrow of Krishna. The 26th shloka. Krishna is in the state of Ananda. But if this is a poetic interpretation that this is Krishna's sorrow, I am not saying Krishna is sad. But look at this shloka. If at all there is some feeling, is like, Arey, yaar, these people, my people have not understood me. That is what he is feeling. 26th shloka. He says, Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu veda na kaschana. He says, Oh Arjuna, the past, present, and the future of every existence I know for sure. He says, I know Arjuna what happened in your last life. I know what's going to happen in future also. He says that I know for sure. He says the past, present, and future, O Arjuna, of every existence. I know for sure. Though I know equally about every living one, with the knowledge of my existence, there is none. He says, I know about everybody, but see, nobody knows. It's like a friend who is feeling sad. It is, "Arey, yaar, I am understanding you, you are not understanding me at all." And here, Krishna is in a very difficult situation where nobody understands him. He understands everybody perfectly. Gandhari comes and curses, your entire Yadav empire will die. You do not know what it feels for a mother to lose her children. That time he receives the curse. He receives the curse. He says, yes, I understand your pain. He receives that. All right, let your curse will be fulfilled. He could have cancelled the curse any time. But he receives that curse and then he says, you saw only the Kauravas dying. For me, a portion of me died every time one person fell on that battlefield. I was experiencing more than you, O mother. My heart has greater pain than what you think. You were thinking I don't understand it. But this is it, and probably if this is actually, now this is poetic thought. Krishna is Ananda only. He is in Leela. But if this is one pain, I think as bhaktas we can really eliminate that pain by trying to understand Krishna. We can try to become those. Why we have to say Meera is the greatest bhakta? We cannot say we are. Why do we have to say Sudama or example? Why cannot we become that? So this is one thing we can say. Krishna says this. There is nobody who knows about my existence, but I know everybody. That's the only sorrow we can find in the Gita in Krishna's words, if at all we want to call it that. Let us go on. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. In likes and dislikes, they are lost in desire's illusion. By the dualities of aversion and dislike, they are deluded, and from truth's gnosis, they are excluded. Oh Arjuna, bewildered is every living creation. So our likes are so strong, our dislikes are so strong. I do not like this. I cannot tolerate this. I cannot tolerate this individual. I have very strong hatred for this kind of people or this kind of thoughts or this. We don't realize that our entire life's journey gets covered by this likes and dislikes. Sometimes not our own life journey, entire families go astray because of individual ahankar and individual like and dislike. Krishna says that, see, this duality of aversion and dislike. Like also is one thing, no, this is only like, this is only right. Sometimes this is right, parents try to force on the children also. It doesn't work on anybody that way. But it is forced, so this is right, and then after 20 years, 30 years, then the children come back. What was right then? You forced this wrong on me, but it was not right. What happened here? Attachment to the right, attachment to the dislike, attachment to something else. These are all what is causing people to get strong opinions. Strong, anywhere we see this. Yogi is like subtle. He goes everywhere. It is like Ramta Jogi Behta Pani. Nothing of force will stop that state of consciousness of the yogi. It goes on there. But here, likes and dislikes, all dvandva, mine, yours, this person's this status, so many things, crowd our mind and make our life. Sometimes we make our life miserable because of it. That is Maya. Yeshvam tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam drudavrata. But those virtuous men who are from sin freed, who have given up their every material need, steadfastly they believe in my overlordship and engage devotedly in my worship. But those who are having that steadfast knowledge, they have understood that They have understood the trap of Maya. Problem is when you don't understand the trap of Maya, it's like you will escape. When will you escape? When you know you are in a prison. If you don't know you are in a prison, you are in a beautiful building. It's a house arrest, but you don't know it because you are getting you can order any food you want, you can watch any movie you want, you can do anything you feel like. So you are very happy. So you will never try to escape. So youngsters, you give them, they'll say, this is life, this is liberation. They'll say, this is all I wanted in life. But even then, after a while, they will learn. It will stop. Their food will stop tasting so good. These are all Indriya's pleasures. These are not higher. So after a while, they will lose the sense of joy in it. But until they realize it, they will not escape, and that is Maya. Maya does not allow you to realize you are trapped. So we need to get that, and best way is by Shraddha. The free men, they are those virtuous men. They have overcome their needs. They are overcome all. They don't have too many needs also. They believe in the worship of the divine and they engage devotedly in worship. Jara marana mokshaya mamashritya yatanti ye te brahma tad viduhu krishna madhyatmam karma chakhilam. Seeking my refuge, these beings who to me bow, and from the cyclic births and deaths they seek release. They experience Brahma's knowledge and peace, and the integral knowledge of divine karma they know. They receive, they understand what is that. Krishna said, Janma karma cha me divyam. My birth is like that, my karma is divine. Somebody who gets that realization gets mukti. And this sloka says that they understand this trap, they understand this experience which is happening again and again. This pattern is taking place in my life, and this is a trap I want to escape from. I want to consciously pull myself out of it. People have been able to come out of addiction also when they realize from the spirit on the inside strongly that yes, I have to free myself. That is what Krishna is saying. They experience Brahma's knowledge. Brahma's knowledge, Brahma Vidya comes to them, and the Brahma Shanti is theirs only. Highest peace is there, and they receive the integral knowledge of divine karma. What is the karma? That is Divya karma. What needs to be done? Krishna was doing divine karma everywhere. His every dialogue was a divine karma. We did not know until afterwards. Many times in Mahabharata, you see that it's not visible. Why has he said this? We all wonder. And then we say, because this was done this here, it led to another reason there. This knowledge is there, and imagine if you know why you are doing all of it, you are able to consciously participate. Krishna goes on, Sadhu bhutadhidaivam mam sadhi yajnam cha ye viduhu prayana kalepi chamam te vidur yukta chetasaha. Recognizing me to be the supreme living one, the primordial master and receiver of sacrifices of everyone, at the critical moment of death, when they are aware of me, they attain a merger and unite into my ethereal sea. So Krishna is talking about something called Prayana Kala. He says, those who recognize my existence as the supreme master, the receiver of all sacrifices, they come to me at that prayan kala also. They are able to think of me. They are not disturbed, is what Krishna says. They come and become one with me. Now this is a very important shloka because this shloka brings about a big change. Another turn is there in the Gita, just as big as the turn that we saw in Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. Another turn comes in Arjuna from, we can say, skeptic. Like I said, right questions need to be asked, something like that. Arjuna's questions are no more going to be the skeptical questions. After this Adhyaya, we will see that, because now probably death is something like that. Death shakes people. Death only introduces people to, it's a reality which we don't accept, we don't understand. Buddhism talks about acceptance of death as the first thing. You have to accept death for going on the next path. First step is that only. Recognize. Then they first talk about recognizing the truth of death. Then they say Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dharmam and Sangam afterwards only. But the recognition is most important. Then comes the other everything, Lotus Sutra, everything. You cannot go into that until you accept that something is there. And the Krishna has used the word Prayana Kala. Arjuna is entering into what is a Kurukshetra, but it is also a Mrityu Kshetra. Death is surrounding him. He is going to, nobody knows. There is, though they were great warriors, there is such a great vulnerability. Everyone, even Kauravan side had fear in their hearts when they heard the Shankhanad of the Pandavan side. Why? Though they had the numbers, because this was unpredictable, and probably that is life as well. I cannot say how long I'll live. I can say I want to live 100 years, but I don't know how many days I have ahead, or how many months, or how many years. I may aspire for long, but this aspect of death shakes people, and this is where Krishna has used the word. Now we will see 8th Adhyaya. What does Krishna answer? Because Krishna has just told us this is going to spark a question from Arjuna. That question will again start a new journey. So with this, this Adhyaya is complete. We'll enter into what is the 8th Adhyaya, which is about, it's actually about the Supreme Adi Deva, Adi Yajna, and also the kinetics of the departing soul. How does the soul move? What is the direction? Which soul goes where? What is it? What is that journey which Arjuna gets curious about? So with this, I'll conclude the Shanti Mantra. If anybody has any queries, we'll see after that. Hari Om. Next session on Monday. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyanto, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishna Mande Jagat Gurum. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Ji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om Ji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. We'll conclude the session then.
धन्यवाद हरि ओम
धन्यवाद.
जी.
Hari Om Ji. Hari Om.